We got DLC, we got Nintendo Directs, and we got Deep Rock. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, February 23rd, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Like I said, the first big thing was actually DLC that we're going to talk about, but probably the one of the biggest DLC drops to ever DLC drop. Yes, that's right, the Elden Ring DLC that's been much highly anticipated, but also uh, not much has ever been talked about it is finally here. So the Elden Ring Shadows of the Erdtree is the DLC that'll get everyone back into Elden Ring 2 years after it launched. So yeah, we got 3 minutes talking about a little bit about what the story is going to be. Which, if you can tell me what the Elden Ring story is about, feel free to leave that down in the comments because I didn't really follow that along, but kind of showed you, more vibes that you're gonna get. All the good vibes that you're gonna get from Shadows of the Erdtree. It also had a launch date. The launch date is June 21st, so we will have something to play this summer. We could lose another 100 hours rolling up a new character for Elden Ring. Um, uh, Bandai Namco also said this is the biggest, or FromSoft also said that this is the biggest DLC they've ever worked on. So hopefully it adds, quite a lot to the game. The way it was described is there's like going to be a whole new zone, and that zone is about as big as like where you start out in in Elden Ring. So yeah, I think a lot of people will. I mean, myself included. If there's nothing else going on this summer, I will definitely be picking up the DLC. I didn't even finish the game the first time around, so maybe I'll actually beat it this time around. But yeah, very much excited, and I know a lot of people are very excited for Shadows of the Erdtree launching this June. I also talked about Nintendo Direct semi-cold open. There was a Nintendo Partner Direct, so this was all focused on third-party games that were coming to Nintendo, and focused on like the first half of this year. I think is what the VO said at the beginning. The biggest one that I think they took the most time on was Epic Mickey Remastered for the Nintendo Switch, which is pretty cool. It was called Epic Mickey Rebrushed because it's all about using the brush because that's Mickey's wand or whatever. But yeah, it looked really well done. I never played any of the original Epic Mickeys. I know Take My Gamer Card now, but yeah, I know that these were really good games, and so the improved art style was something I don't remember. So yeah, very excited for Epic Mickey. A couple other games that caught my eye were like Grounded and Pentiment. Pentiment. Two Obsidian games, so you know that they're somehow partnered with Nintendo to bring their games to it. So you can play Grounded on your Switch. I can actually see myself and my friends getting together with Switches and actually potentially playing through Grounded. So because we had fun playing that on PC as well as on Xbox. And then Pentiment, you can sit down and read through the Pentiment on your Switch sometime soon. So yeah, lots of really cool games coming to Nintendo Switch. A lot of third-party games. Wasn't the most exciting Nintendo Direct that I've ever seen, but yeah, I feel like I'm still waiting for that good Nintendo Direct that like Indie Showcase or something to catch my eye. But it was still pretty good. So I'll have a link down below if you want to check it out yourself. Moving on to games that are actually out or coming out soon. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake that came out a couple years ago, will be launching next week. I thought it was dropping now, but I guess the review embargo lifted this week, and the Metacritic score is really good. It's at 93, which is up a couple points from from Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was an 87 on its Metacritic. And yeah, I hear that there's a couple little foibles that people have with the game, but for the most part, it's like a stellar sequel. Everyone's really excited to hop into it, and I actually thought it launched this week, but I guess it was just review embargo lifted. So yeah, I bet this thing's gonna sell like hotcakes next week. So I'll be looking to see how much sales they get in the first weekend, probably a couple million. So yeah, and I'm really excited to pick that up. I know I've been hell diving a lot recently, but I've been and I want to play Banishers and Pacific Drive. But in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth would actually be my first time playing through a Final Fantasy game in its entirety. Is that true? I think that's true. So, uh, and I'm also curious if this is like a part 2 of 3, or if Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the intended follow up and end to the Final Fantasy remake saga. So, still curious on that. I don't have all the details, but yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, especially if it's got a 93 Metacritic. You should probably pick it up too. Riot's ongoing fighting game development has come to a head. The game was previously known as Project L, but now we have an official name for it. It is 2XKO, which I think there's a little bit of a question on whether or not it's like 2 times KO, or if it's just a letter or a number and a couple letters. So 2XKO, but yeah, we get to see a little bit of gameplay. I know people have been highly anticipating. I'm using that word a lot, throwing a lot around this week, but I think Riot's take on like a Mortal Kombat or a Capcom fighter is definitely something that people have been waiting for, and so being able to play as Yasuo or any of your other favorite Riot characters in a fighting game, in a 2D fighting game, I think something that yeah, people will definitely get into, and having Mortal Kombat 1 come out last year and Street Fighter and Tekken 8 drop in this year. I think in a year or two, when this game finally hits the it finally launches, I think that people will be, that fighting genre crowd will be kind of anxious for a new one. So yeah, I think Project L will, or now 2XKO will keep people reinvigorate the fighting genre super fans. Deep Rock Galactic spin-off based on Vampire Survivors, kind of like an idol battler, launched this week, and it launched on PC, which I thought was an interesting move. I know that a lot of games tend to launch on PC and then use that as a jumping point for other platforms, but launching a Vampire Survivors like not on mobile felt a little weird. But hey, what do I know? They've already sold 500,000 units after launching this week, so yeah, I think a lot of people are just running in and logging in on their PCs. Although I can't imagine. I bet people are playing it on their Steam Deck. I bet the Steam Deck percentage of users is pretty high, actually. So I might actually buy it and add my sale to that number, so I can run around and watch my little drunken dwarves take out bugs and minions and stuff with their turrets and autocannons. So yeah, looking forward to potentially picking up Deep Rock Galactic. I didn't think about the Steam Deck when I originally was like blasting it in my email. So yeah, I think good on them. 500,000 units in the first week or so is pretty good. I think I figured it out. I think I figured out why Sony has been so interested in PC lately. A report came out from an analyst about Sony's market cap being dropped by $10 billion. So the estimated value of the company has dropped $10 billion based on the projected sales of the PS5 for the rest of its lifetime, which I'm curious what the end of that cycle is going to be. If we've got another 2-3 years left in the PlayStation before, no, we've got more than that. We've got 3 or 4 years before the life of the PS5 is over. But yeah, I assume it's not selling as much as they wanted. If they used the PS4 as a benchmark, then I bet they're falling a little low on that one. Which kind of leads to kind of my thoughts this week is I'm curious. I also saw articles about PlayStation's kind of taking its VR and trying to make it compatible with PC to try and get more of that market. We've seen Helldivers launch day and date with Sony and PC, or PlayStation and PC. They've just, they've been really upping their PC game, and I'm curious if this is if those attempts are trying to offset something like the console market. So, hey, it's good for people. Breaking down walled gardens, giving more people access to your content can always do good things. So I'm curious how this kind of stabilizes the shortcomings of the platform, if there are any. I mean, we've already seen articles talking about how PlayStation is outselling Xbox by two or more. So they're still doing good in the console space, but apparently not well enough. So took a hit on their market cap for that. Saw a really cool game this week. indie game that I'd like to cast a spotlight on. It was called Spell Rogue. For anybody who liked Slay the Spire, I think that you would be very much interested in this game. It's almost exactly like Slay the Spire, except for you roll dice, which, as someone who thinks that like the dice roller or the dice chucker is going to slowly build into being maybe as big a category as like card battlers are now, or is still like a little bit on the bleeding edge. I think that dice rollers are kind of the next big thing. So yeah, you play as one of three different wizards, and you roll dice, and those you use the dice rolling to either roll more dice or give you effects to help you take out the minions, so you can go through the spire, quote unquote. So yeah, I think it looked like a really cool game and something I'm going to keep my eye on and potentially pick up sometime soon. Speaking of Mortal Kombat, a new DLC character has finally arrived for Mortal Kombat, and that is everyone's favorite redneck superhero. Peacemaker is coming or has come to Mortal Kombat 1. And yeah, he'll fit right in with Omni-Man and Homelander. So we've got a bunch of superheroes doing a bunch of heavy lifting with Peacemaker. But yeah, I think they got John Cena's voice, so I think they did it right. The one thing I think they're missing is Vigilante, who I loved from the TV show, and I'm actually looking forward to. I'm curious when Peacemaker season 2 is coming out, but if I have to wait too much longer, I can just play as Peacemaker in Mortal Kombat 1 to give me that little dopamine hit. So looking forward to checking out Peacemaker in Mortal Kombat 1. Holy Resurrected MOBA Batman, a MOBA game that I don't know if any of you remember. Do you remember Gigantic? Gigantic was like a hero shooter, third person shooter MOBA game that came out 5 years ago, and didn't do well. It was another one of those like free to play hero shooters, and you'll slowly collect heroes in a battle pass and all that kind of stuff. Well, it died. It died 5 years ago. The company behind it is bringing it back, and they're going to just try the HD model. They're going to try the premium model, see if they can sell it for I think $20. You get all the characters and just see, can we support that model? Which is pretty interesting. I mean, the industry tends to when the industry tends to close doors, I don't think those doors get reopened. So it's exciting to kind of see a company say, hey, live service didn't work for this game, or the games as a service evergreen model didn't work for this game. Free to play didn't work. Let's try selling it for premium. Usually companies go the other way around. They will try and sell you a $40 game, and then they'll go free to play in a couple months, and you can buy your battle passes from that point forward. Or they'll have had battle passes the whole time, which just kind of pisses off the people who bought at a premium price anyway. But yeah, I'm curious if other companies will attempt to do this. If we'll see kind of based on the success of this model, whether or not you can kind of bring some of these old games back and just try them again as these free to play games. Try them again as a premium game, an HD game as they call it in the industry. So yeah, curious if they can make that work. So I'll be keeping my eye on that one. Last but not least, we got in a bit of movie news. We got the Borderlands movie trailer this week. So we got 2.5 minutes of wacky, zany Borderlands stuff going on that left most of my friends and I feeling kind of... For anyone who hasn't seen it, the Borderlands movie trailer dropped this week. And yeah, I think we, I had a gathering of my friends this week. We all kind of sat down, we watched the trailer, and we just didn't really feel much about it. All recognizable characters. The set design looked amazing for it, but just like the VO and the character expressions just didn't do anything for us. I know that the youngest actress has big shoes to fill if she's going to try and be Tiny Tina, one of the characters' favorites and over the top and zany. The one thing that I was thinking too is that Borderlands has always been an M-rated game, and I think that's been a lot of the fun is just ripping into characters and watching them explode and blood and guts and viscera. And that's a lot of like the fun and excitement that goes into, the Borderlands IP. And the movie just, at least from this first trailer, just didn't have that. I know, it's kind of I think Jack Black in anything is going to be great. So him playing as Claptrap, I think will be full of laughs and have fun. Bowser, great character. Like everything he does is pretty good. But yeah, everything else just kind of fell flat. I know that a lot of people are calling into question like Kate Blanchett as Lilith. I think that they are playing the characters as a little bit more advanced age. And so these aren't the young, fresh ones that you think of like the first Borderlands game. So these are a little bit more tenured characters, but yeah, I'm curious what the plot's gonna be because that even me and my friends sitting around like the plot of Borderlands isn't necessarily a strong pull unless it's like I got to beat up Handsome Jack, which hopefully they don't try and do in this one. Um, but yeah, I'm just very curious kind of who the target audience is, and then if it's like a PG-13 movie, like Borderlands 3 came out 7 or 8 years ago. Like, yeah, I don't know that I don't know that any youngins are playing any of the more recent Borderlands games. So if you're targeting that audience, you're gonna lose maybe some of the older people who want a more gritty or over the top or explosive kind of visceral experience. So yeah, it just kind of it took me really out of it with the VO and some of the acting that we saw in the trailer. Again, very preliminary. I'm still probably going to see the movie in theaters just because I love the IP so much. But I'm curious what some of the choices I'm like thinking in my head that I'm calling into question. So let me know what you think of the Borderlands trailer down below in the comments. That's it for this week. Let me know if you feel I forgot anything. We can chat there or in my Discord. But as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you do, could you leave a comment just to make sure that my comments works? I would super appreciate that. Speaking of, I hope you have a super week, and I hope you have a super day, and I hope you have a super week. Bye.